What's going on, guys? Brandon here, coming at you with another video today. Got a little bit of a longer one for you, but hopefully you stick to the end, because I'm going to retell the story of what happened to me when I was 9 years old that was life-changing. Life would never be the same as I knew it, but after many years, I learned to cope with it, live with it, realize that it's just the way it is, shit happens, and sometimes you just gotta roll with the punches and keep living. Now, I was 9 years old, strapping little buck, played baseball. I wasn't that strapping, I was actually a pretty small kid, but anyways, normal 9-year-old kid, loved sports. Baseball was the biggest one. I was actually really good at baseball. If this wouldn't have happened to me, I know I would have stuck with it, and who knows where that could have went. But you can't live in the past, you gotta live in the now. So for those of you that do not know, I told this story when I first started my channel, so I'm sure there's a lot of you that have never heard this story before, because to be honest, who goes back and watches the old videos? They just want to stay up with the most recent stuff. At least that's the way I am. I mean, there's a few YouTubers that I go back and watch some of their older stuff, but just a couple clips. But anyways, I'm getting off track. Alright, I only got 7 minutes to tell this, so I gotta be decently quick. Back to the story. So, one evening I had a baseball game, and during that game, I ended up getting beamed in the back with a pitch. And obviously, it hurt like hell. Well, for the rest of the night, my back continued to hurt like hell. Didn't get much sleep, got up in the morning, told my mom my back was hurting, and she said, well, let's give you some ibuprofen or whatever, you know, children's Advil, and send you off to school and, you know, see how you do throughout the day. Continues to hurt you, just give me a call and I'll come and get you. So I said, alright. Went to school, kept hurting throughout the day. Lunchtime comes around, I go up to the lunchroom and I start feeling really funny. I'm starting to feel kind of panicky. My back's starting to hurt even more. And we're standing in the lunch line, and I'm sure you guys remember back in elementary school, you'd stand in line and you'd pass the milks down the line to everybody so everybody had their milk when they went up to grab their meal. Well, when the kid in front of me went to pass me the milk, I went to grab it with my left hand, and I dropped it. I couldn't move my left hand. And I was like, what the fuck? You know, I mean, obviously I didn't say what the fuck, I was 9 years old, but you get the picture. So I picked the milk up with my right hand, really started to panic, but I tried to ignore it. You know, you're a little kid, you have no clue what's going on. This is unknown territory for me. I don't get what's going on with my body. So I get my meal, sit down, try to eat, but I'm really starting to panic because I'm trying to move my left hand and I just cannot do it. So I ended up just getting up. I'm kind of teary-eyed at this point. Throw my meal in the trash. I go to walk down the stairs and I almost fall. My legs kind of like gave out on me and I almost fell down the stairs. I caught myself, made my way outside, and once I got outside, I really started to panic. I started bawling. I was freaking out, and the only thing I could think of doing is try to run. So I try to run, and the only way that I can explain this is if you've ever seen the movie Nightmare on Elm Street, when the chick goes to run up the stairs and her feet go through the stairs and it's all gook and she's just like walking in place basically. That's how it felt. I tried to run, but I couldn't go anywhere. I just collapsed to the ground. I started screaming for my buddy Blake because I seen him. He wasn't too far away. And I said, help. You know, I didn't know what was going on. He ran up and he's like, asked me what was going on. And I said, I don't know. I can't move. So he picked me up and he carried me inside and went and got the principal and the teacher. They came in. Everybody's frantic, freaking out, not knowing what's going on with me. So they decide, you know, they couldn't get a hold of my mother because she was at work. They tried calling the work phone, no answer. So they ended up getting a hold of my stepdad, and he said that he would meet us at the apartment, and on the way he would stop and tell my mom what was going on so that she could leave, because it was like right on the way to our house. So we meet up there. At this point, everybody's freaking out. Don't know what to do, so my mom ends up taking me to the hospital. I mean, obviously we knew to take me to the hospital, but you get the picture. Like, something like this, you're going to freak out. So they take me to the hospital, and the doctor there comes in, and he says, so what seems to be the problem? And I said, I can't walk, I can't move my legs, and my left hand. And he says, picks me up, and this dude was a big guy, and so my feet were dangling a good 2 feet off the ground. And he's like, stand up, and just lets me go. Fucking hit the floor, started crying. I'm like, I can't. My mom was in so much shock that she didn't say nothing. And if you knew my mother and she wasn't in shock, she would have tore his head off. But she just picked me up, put me back on the table. The doctor took her out, said he wanted to talk to her, and blah blah. Asked her all these stupid fucking questions. The doctor was a fucking douchebag. We should have sued the guy, but it is what it is. They end up having no idea what's going on with me. Thank God I didn't get left in Alpena General, because I literally legit would have fucking died, because they're dumbasses up there. Worst hospital ever. And yeah, they end up sending me to the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Come to find out, I have transverse myelitis. Now what that is a spinal disease that there's one of 3 ways you can get it. A, from this bug that I cannot remember which one it was. B, lead poisoning. Or C, and this is the one that we're almost 100% happened to me, it was pollutions that were being pumped in the air from this plant in the town that I lived in at that point. I lived on the north side, that's where this plant was, and later on down the road, years later, it came up in the news that young kids were getting spinal diseases from pollutants getting pumped in the air. So we're pretty sure that that's how it happened. I ended up spending 3.5 months in the hospital down in Ann Arbor. I almost died. I was on life support for a good month. They put me in a chemical-induced coma, so that first month was the quickest month of my life. It was like I went to sleep and I woke up and it was a month later. It was pretty crazy. But they ended up having to take me off the life support, see if I could breathe on my own. If I wasn't able to, I would have had to get a trach. Luckily that didn't happen. I slowly got better. After the 3.5 months, I was able to crawl. It was basically like being an infant and learning how to walk all over again. Now these days, I can walk pretty well. I still need the wheelchair, you know, when I go into a big store, or if I want to go for a long walk, or in, you know, places like that. But in the house, I just walk around. You know, I may have to hang onto a wall or something. My balance is a little off. But it could have been a lot worse. That's the way I look at it now. That's the way I've looked at it for a long time. When I was a kid, you know, I had my breakdowns where, you know, why me kind of things. You know, it completely turns your life upside down. You know, when you're used to being able to walk around, run, play sports, and then you're confined to a wheelchair, it's a pretty drastic change. But, you know, I overcame it, and in all honesty, it probably made me a better person. I know that sounds strange, but, you know, my mom's really religious, and she believes, even though it sounds evil as fuck, that, you know, God may have done this to me for a reason. You know, maybe I was going down, because I had some pretty bad friends, you know, and I know you're saying, well, you're 9 years old, but it starts some point, man. If you get it hooked in with the wrong crowd, who knows where I could have been today, you know. I just look at it as, it sucks, but it could have been way worse. That's the way you have to look at certain things in life, and that's how I look at this. I'm still able to drive. I'm still super independent. It's not like I need somebody taking care of me. I'm like you or anybody else. I just need to use a wheelchair when I go in certain places. That's about it. This end clip here, totally ignore it. I did horrible, but I thought it was crazy. Last second, we end up pulling it off by 1 point. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and as always guys, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.